It's your testimony, Mr. Jack, that on July 18, okay, the day Mollie goes missing, I just want to be clear on timeline here, that you texted her that morning, "Good morning, beautiful."
Correct.
And did you text throughout the day with her?
No.
Pardon me?
One other time.
On the 18th.
Yes.
And do you recall texting with her around dinner time?
No.
She didn't ask you if you had a better day today?
I don't recall that, no.
So this is the day your love of your life goes missing, and you don't recall that?
No.
Did you not go back and try to recreate the day that your love of your life goes missing in an attempt to maybe figure out how she was wound up missing?
From the moment that it started, I knew that I was not a investigator of any sort.
Okay, but even for your own peace of mind, you didn't go back and try to recreate this?
My own peace of mind came by trying to get her back.
Okay, did you not go back and look at your phone and look at your text messages and your Snapchats to just kind of rehash the days leading up to this?
No.
Not once?
No.
Okay. Well, what is your understanding of the time that Mollie would have been likely abducted?
I don't understand the question.
What is your understanding of the time of day on the 18th that Mollie was likely abducted?
Her normal running time was what I assumed.
Okay, so no one's told you, you haven't done any investigation as to what time of day Mollie was abducted? Exactly.
Every detail of the case I wanted omitted from me because I don't want to know.
You don't want to know?
No.
Okay. All right, let's back up a little further then. July 16th is a Monday, right?
Yes.
We know that because the 18th was a Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Monday you didn't work in Dubuque?
Monday I worked in Dubuque.
Okay. So Monday night was a typical night. You were hanging out with the boys in the room, right?
Yes.
Who's your roommate?
Brandon Gordy.
And Brandon's a young man you grew up with?
I didn't grow up with Brandon Gordy.
He's from Brooklyn though, right?
Yes. But he was older than I was.
Okay. Did you text and Snapchat Mollie that night?
Yes.
What time did you go to bed?
I don't recall.
Around 10:30? Sound about right?
Sure.
Is that
Yes.
your normal? Is that your normal bedtime?
Yes.
Tuesday, you get up. What time did you go to work that day?
Same time as always, 5:30, 6 o'clock, somewhere in there.
Okay. And you worked all day until about 6 o'clock that night, right?
Yes.
Long day.
Yes.
Now, is that the day that someone sprayed your car with some sealant?
It was either Tuesday or Monday, but yes.
Made you pretty upset.
Yes.
So upset that you wanted to quit, right?
Yes.
You wanted to go home, see Mollie, right?
Yes.
But you didn't. Why not?
Because the pay, benefits, what else was I going to do?
Okay. Mollie talked you out of it, right?
Yes.
And that night, did you hang out with the guys drinking beer and?
I don't recall.
Okay. Well, if you told investigators you drank a bunch of beer that night and got drunk and was hungover Wednesday morning, would that sound about right?
Yes.
And that makes sense because you were angry and probably drank one or two too many beers, right?
Yes.
Who sprayed your truck?
I don't remember who sprayed my truck, but it was somebody on one of the other crews.
Okay. And you were upset with him?
Yes.
You told Mollie you were upset with him?
Yes.
Okay. It was a Hispanic gentleman, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. And then on Wednesday you went back to work and another normal day, right?
Yes.
And you don't recall Mollie texting you at the end of the day and asking you if you had a better day?
No, I don't.
Okay. And you don't recall texting Mollie at 8:18 or 8:19 that night?
No, I don't.
You don't recall sending her a text message saying my phone data straight up won't work?
No, I don't.
Okay. And it's your testimony that you opened a Snapchat from Mollie at 10:30 p.m., right?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that the Snapchat records that were retrieved by investigators would more accurately show those times than your recollection?
Absolutely.
Can you think of any reason in your mind why those records would show that you opened that last Snapchat at 1:30 a.m. on the 19th?
I was just awake. Woke up in the middle of the night.
Okay, so if they show 1:30 a.m., that's accurate, right?
If that's what the records show, yes.
Okay, so your recollection of that could be faulty.
Yes.
You have no recollection of texting Mollie at 8:18 p.m. on July 18th saying, my data straight up won't work.
I don't.
The last message you sent your girlfriend on the day she was abducted.
Correct.
Okay. Now, on your phone, you have a number of apps, right?
Yes.
You have an Apple iPhone, right?
Yes.
On that Apple iPhone, you have things like Find My iPhone.
Yes.
Tell me what Find My iPhone is.
Find My iPhone, if you have paired the iPhones, allows you to find the other iPhone.
Okay, so like I have kids, and I can do Find My iPhone to find my kids and where they are at any given time. Did you have the same thing with Mollie?
No.
So you had Find My iPhone. Do you have anybody else on Find My iPhone that you could locate?
No. The way Find My iPhone works is if you're on the same phone bill, then you can do it, or if you pair them, you can do it. Me and Mollie never paired, and we weren't on the same phone bill.
Okay. Would there be any reason why you were on Find My iPhone on July 18th, 2018?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Well, who is on your Find My iPhone that you can locate at that time?
Nobody.
Okay. You also have Progressive for a insurance company, right?
Not anymore, but at the time I did, yes.
Okay. And that application was on your phone as well, right?
Yes.
And that app would keep track of how you drove?
Yes.
And if you drove well, like you didn't speed or stop short or get in an accident, you would get rewarded for good driving behavior, right?
Correct.
Do you check that app often?
No.
But it would automatically kick in if your vehicle was on the move. Is that your understanding?
Correct, yes.
Do you recall checking your Progressive app that night?
No, but I rarely swiped up and closed my apps on my phone.
Okay. But your understanding is of the Progressive app, they call it Snapshot, right?
Yes.
Snapshot kicks in when your vehicle is on the move, right?
Yes.
And it's your vehicle, no one else's, right?
No.
And you're telling me that your vehicle on July 18th, 2018 was not on the move. 9 o'clock that night, you were drinking beer with buddies and playing bags, right?
Correct.
You also have an app on your phone called Maps, right?
Yes.
Now, Maps, you can get directions or drop a pin and drive to someone's location, right?
Yes.
You've done that before, right?
I've used maps to get directions, yes.
Would there be any reason why you were using Apple Maps on your phone in the evening of July 18th, 2018, after, let's say, 10 p.m.?
Not that I can think of.
If your phone activity shows that you were using Apple Maps that night, can you think of any reason why?
That I would have not closed it.
Okay. When was the last time you would have used Apple Maps to your knowledge?
To get up to Dubuque.
Okay. Now, who is Ulysses Felix?
Ulysses Felix was the, he's a kid that worked with Scott. Not worked with Scott, went to school with Scott.
You ever met Ulysses Felix?
Yes.
Did you know Ulysses Felix prior to Mollie's death?
I knew of him, yes.
Pardon me?
I knew of him, yes.
Okay. Did you know where he lived?
No.
Judge, I'm going to object again to this particular line of questioning being outside the scope of direct.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Did you know where he worked?
No.
He's also a friend of Jake Tibbetts too, right?
Yes.
And this is the same Ulysses Felix that after Mollie's death wound up living with Laura, right?
Correct.
Let's talk about you, young man. You consider yourself to have a temper?
Not anymore.
You did, though, at one time?
Yes.
Pretty angry young man?
When I was about 17, 16, yes.
Okay, so how old were you when Mollie died?
20.
When you're 17, 16, tell us about the temper that Dalton Jack had.
Judge, I'm going to object to relevance.
Overruled. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Tell me about the temper of the 16, 17-year-old Dalton Jack.
It was not good. It was short-fused.
Like to fight?
Yes.
In fact, one time you choked a man out, right?
I'm going to object. This is improper character evidence, specific instance of conduct. This is not relevant.
Sustained on that ground.
But you've been known to fight, right?
Yes.
And when you fought, your friends were right there with you, weren't they?
Yes.
They all had each other's backs, right?
Yes.
Those friends included Dylan Eichhorn.
Dylan Eichhorn was older than me, so no.
How much older was Dylan?
Dylan graduated with my older brother who was just in here.
Okay. You know Jackson Eichhorn?
Yes.
Is he a friend?
No. He graduated with my younger brother.
Okay. But you all know each other, right?
Yes.
You work with Dylan, right?
Yes.
Around the time that Mollie was abducted or died, you told her a number of times that you thought you were depressed, right?
Correct.
And that manifested itself with anger, you said, right?
Judge, I'm going to object to relevance again.
Sustained.
Three days before Mollie ends up missing, she told you that she was upset and sad because of your relationship with Jordan, right?
Yes.
The day before she ends up missing, you learned that she and Hope Beck had talked about your relationship with yet another woman named Tara, right?
Objections calls for hearsay.
Overruled.
I don't recall that at all.
You don't know that?
No.
Either you don't know it or you don't recall it.
Don't recall it.
Okay. You told police that they asked you if Mollie was jealous. You told her that there was a woman named Tara as well, right?
If that's what the report says, and yes.
I'm not asking what the report says. I'm asking you what you said.
I don't recall.
You don't recall telling the police about Tara?
No.
Was there a Tara?
Yes.
Okay, so there's another woman that you had at least some conversations with, right?
Yes.
And that was during your relationship with Mollie.
That was simultaneous to starting the relationship with Mollie.
Okay. And who told you, or got a hold of you first as Mollie's friend, about whether or not Mollie was missing?
Emily Fenny.
Also, an old relationship of yours.
Yes.
Also a woman who made Mollie jealous, right?
Objection. This calls for speculation.
Sustained.
You and Mollie had conversations in the weeks and month leading up to her abduction about Emily asking about you, right?
I don't recall that at all.
There was a time where Emily would be at parties and stuff and ask about you?
Judge, I'm not Jack. Calls for speculation, calls for hearsay.
Sustained.
Okay. Emily Fenner, when she texted you, because that's what she did, she texted you, right?
She called me. She texted me and called me, yes.
When she texted you, she asked you a very specific question, didn't she?
I don't recall.
She asked you, Dalt, because she called you Dalt, right?
Yes.
And she said, Dalt, is Mollie alive? Didn't she?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't recall the text messages.
Okay. You'd agree with me that's an odd question to ask someone?
Judge, it's argumentative, calls for speculation.
Sustained.
How long was it before Mollie was abducted that she started wearing her promise ring again?
I don't recall.
Was it a week?
I don't recall.
Okay. What have you done to prepare yourself for testimony today, sir?
I got off a flight yesterday, so very little.
Okay. You know, we're here on a charge of murder for the love of your life, right?
Yes.
And I'm getting a lot of, I don't recall out of you, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you want the man who did this brought to justice, right?
Yes.
And you haven't thought about this and poured it over in your mind to have every detail remembered?
When I was asked if I wanted to be here voluntarily, I said absolutely not. So no.
So you did not want to be here voluntarily?
No, I didn't want to be in the same room as your defendant there.
Oh. So you didn't want to come give testimony to get justice for your love of your life?
No.
You wouldn't be here to fight for her?
No.
Okay. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, any redirect?
Dalton, let's be clear. You cooperated with me prior to trial to prepare you here today, is that correct?
Absolutely, yes.
All right. We talked on the phone a number of times, isn't that right?
Yes.
The reason why we wouldn't have met in person is because you're in the Army stationed in Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Yes.
Do you remember a time when this case was pending, when you had been deployed overseas?
Yes.
Where did you go? Can you tell us?
Iraq.
All right. And whenever you were in Iraq, you communicated with me, correct?
Yes.
And it was mainly about the case, about when it was going to be scheduled, and that type of thing. Isn't that right?
Yes.
So you've always wanted to assist and do what you can. Is that right?
Sustained. Rephrase the question, please.
I can do that. Describe your level of you cooperated with us, is that right?
Yes.
All right. And we sent you some reports, correct, to review? I'll rephrase it. What did we, sorry.
Sustained. Rephrase.
Yeah, what did we send you to review for this case?
You sent me 2 reports.
All right. And did we sit down with you to prepare you?
Yes.
All right. Tell us the reason again why you don't want to be sitting in this room right now.
Because of the defendant being here.
Okay, and why?
I'm obviously not his biggest fan.
Okay. You were in a relationship with Mollie Tibbetts, correct?
Yes.
Is that why you don't want to be sitting with this man right here?
Correct.
Because you think he's responsible for her death, isn't that right?
Speculation invades the profits of the jury.
Well, I'll sustain that, but I'm going to allow Mr. Brown to rephrase the question if he so chooses.
Why do you not want to be sitting in this room with that guy, with this man?
I wholeheartedly believe he's guilty.